Good. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another pre-stream of the theory test. Bit more practicing. So let's see how I get on. So let's go share screen, please. And go. Just need to quickly do something. Like that, yeah, that's better. So I need that. I need to go down to. There it is, mock test.
Where should you park your vehicle at night? In a well-lit area, near a police station, in a quiet road, on a red route.
In a well-lit area.
When may you stop on a clear way? In the rush hour. Never. When it's busy. During daylight hours.
Yeah, we'll say never.
What should you do if you want to turn left at a junction where pedestrians have started to cross?
Right, so obviously we're going down this street here, there's people on the road, so
Sound your horn and proceed.
no, I can't start them.
Go around them, leaving plenty of room.
No, you don't know what's coming up here, whether I have to stop.
Give way to them. Stop and wave at them to cross.
No, give way. It's already on there, so you might have to stop and let them cross.
You're being overtaken by a long, heavily laden lorry. What should you do if it's taking a long time for it to overtake? Hold your speed. Change direction. Slow down. Speed up.
Right. I'll say slow down.
What's the reason for the hatched area along the center of this road? It separates the two sides of the dual carriageway. It separates traffic flowing in opposite directions. It marks an area to be used by overtaking motorcyclists. It's a temporary marking to warn of the roadworks. What's the reason for the hatched area along the center of this road?
I'm sure it'll be this red area here.
It separates the two sides of the dual carriageway. It separates traffic flowing in opposite directions. It marks an area to be used by overtaking motorcyclists. It's a temporary marking to warn of the roadworks.
It's not temporary. It'll do for motorbikes.
It separates the two sides of the dual carriageway. It separates traffic flowing in opposite directions. How can you make sure that a satellite navigation sat-nav system doesn't distract you when you're driving? Choose a voice that you find calming. Turn it off while you're driving in built-up areas. Set it before starting your journey. Only set the destination when you're lost.
Set it before you start your journey.
What should you do as you approach this lorry? Slow down and be prepared to wait. Move to the right-hand side of the road. Make the lorry wait for you. Flash your lights at the lorry. Slow down and be prepared to wait.
Yeah.
What does this sign mean? Cars only. No motorcycles. Motorcycles only. No cars.
Right. But obviously it's more. It's not going to be no cars or no or more or cars only. I don't know if it is only motorbikes thing, but I don't know. What if only motorbikes? But then where would that be? But then why would you have a no motorbike sign? For like. Because there will be no big, no, like, if you're in the country, you come to a highway called vehicles, I suppose like no motorbike, because they're not more noisier. Uh,
Which lights must you use if you're driving on a well-lit motorway at night? Use front fog lights.
no fog lights at all.
Use only your side lights. Use your headlights. Use rear fog lights.
Side lights.
What does this traffic sign mean? Tyres liable to punctures ahead. Slippery road ahead. Danger ahead. Service area ahead.
Ooh. Oh.
Tyres liable to punctures ahead.
Could be.
Slippery road ahead.
Was not that one?
Danger ahead. Service area ahead.
I've got to go for tyres.
You're driving on a road that has a cycle lane. What does it mean if the lane is marked by a broken white line? The lane must be used by motorcyclists in heavy traffic. There's a reduced speed limit for motor vehicles using the lane. Cyclists can travel in both directions in that lane. You shouldn't drive in the lane unless it's unavoidable.
Let's go through the beginning.
You're driving on a road that has a cycle lane. What does it mean if the lane is marked by a broken white line? The lane must be used by motorcyclists in heavy traffic. There's a reduced speed limit for motor vehicles using the lane. Cyclists can travel in both directions in that lane. You shouldn't drive in the lane unless it's unavoidable.
I think it'd be that one.
Which vehicle will use a blue flashing beacon? Breakdown recovery.
No.
Motorway maintenance. Bomb disposal. Snow plow.
Right, so blue. Jerry the police use it. So I think it's like emergency services. So for that logic, Bob's got because they've got to be there fast. Gets your attention.
What's the aim of a smart motorway? To reduce rest stops, to prevent tailgating, to reduce congestion, to prevent overtaking.
Reduce congestion.
You've just been overtaken by this motorcyclist. What should you do if the rider cuts in sharply? Flash your lights. Sound the horn. Brake firmly. Keep a safe gap.
Keep a safe gap.
You're driving at night and looking for somewhere to park. When may you park on the right-hand side of the road? When you have your side lights on. When you're under a lamppost. When you're in a one-way street. When you're more than 10 meters, 32 feet from a junction.
When you're in a one-way street.
What type of vehicle could you expect to meet in the middle of the road?
A lorry.
What can cause excessive or uneven tire wear? A faulty braking system, a faulty electrical system, a faulty exhaust system, a faulty gearbox.
Faulty braking.
When may you use hazard warning lights? When you wish to stop on double yellow lines. When you slow down quickly on a motorway because of a hazard ahead. When you leave your car at the roadside to visit a shop. When you need to park on the pavement.
When you slow down quickly to avoid a hazard.
Why does this junction have a stop sign and a stop line on the road? It's a busy junction. The junction is on a downhill gradient. Speed on the major road is de-restricted. Visibility along the major road is restricted. Visibility along the major road is restricted.
Yeah, but you're going to junction, so I don't.
The junction is on a downhill gradient. Speed on the major road is de-restricted. It's a busy junction.
So I'll go.
How should you position yourself when you use the emergency telephone on the motorway? Face the oncoming traffic. Stay close to the carriageway. Keep your back to the traffic. Stand on the hard shoulder.
Face the traffic, so you know what's coming towards you. You need to react to it.
What should you do if your vehicle breaks down in a tunnel? Stand in the lane behind your vehicle to warn others. Stand in front of your vehicle to warn oncoming drivers. Stay in your vehicle and wait for the police. Switch on hazard warning lights, then go and call for help.
That one.
You're approaching a crossroads. What should you do if the traffic lights have failed? Brake and stop only for large vehicles. Brake sharply to a stop before looking. Be prepared to stop for any traffic. Be prepared to brake sharply to a stop. You're approaching a crossroads. What should you do if the traffic lights have failed? Be prepared to stop for any traffic.
Yeah.
You service your own vehicle. How should you dispose of the old engine oil? Put it in your dustbin. Pour it down a drain. Take it to a local authority site. Tip it into a hole in the ground.
You don't say.
You're going through a long tunnel. What will warn you of congestion or an incident ahead? Other drivers flashing their lights. Areas with hatch markings. Variable message signs. Hazard warning lines.
Various message signs.
What would suggest you're driving on an icy road? There's less transmission noise. There's less tire noise. There's less wind noise. There's less engine noise.
Less tire noise.
What restrictions apply to people who have a provisional driving license? They can't drive unaccompanied. They can't drive over 30 miles per hour. Why should you check the information leaflet before taking any medicine? Some types of medicine can affect your ability to drive safely. Drug companies want customer feedback on their products. You may have to let your insurance company know about the medicine you take may affect your hearing. Where should you avoid overtaking? In a one-way street, approaching a dip in the road, just after a bend, on a 30 miles per hour
dip in the road.
When should you check the engine oil level? When the engine is hot.
No.
Before a long journey. Early in the morning. Every time you drive the car.
You don't want every time you have a car. I don't think it's that well because let's say you've changed it yesterday. You're not going to check it the next day. That's going to last for a good while. Early in the morning, well, I think it's before a long journey.
Why is it a bad technique to coast when you're driving downhill? The vehicle will gain speed more quickly.
Yeah.
The engine will overheat. The fuel consumption will increase. The tires will wear more quickly.
You gain more speed.
What lights should you use when you're driving on a wet motorway and vehicles are throwing up surface spray? Rear fog lights, dipped headlights, hazard warning lights, side lights.
Dipped headlights. But the height of spray. Because fog, it's not foggy, so it's all light people.
For how long is a statutory off-road notification, an SORN, valid? Until the vehicle is taxed, sold or scrapped. Until the vehicle is repaired or modified. Until the vehicle is insured and until the vehicle is used on the road.
Tax, sold or scrapped.
What is a statutory off-road notification? SORN. A notification to tell DVLA that a vehicle isn't being used on the road. Information kept by the police about the owner of a vehicle. Information held by insurance companies to check a vehicle is insured. A notification to tell DVSA that a vehicle doesn't have a current MOT.
Would let them know that off the road. Could we just answer that before?
You're about to reverse into a side road. What should you do if a pedestrian is waiting to cross behind your car? Sound your horn to warn the pedestrian. Reverse before the pedestrian starts to wave to the pedestrian to stop. Give way to the pedestrian.
Give way.
Which sign informs you that you're coming to a no-through road?
Oh, road. Let's see. But you've got A with a north through road there, and you got a D with the north through road there. But that one, but yeah. Let's see.
Why should you try and park in a secure car park? It helps deter thieves. It makes it easy to find your car. It stops the car being exposed to bad weather. It doesn't cost anything to park here. What will happen if you hold the clutch pedal down or roll in neutral for too long? It will cause the engine to overheat. It will use more fuel. It will reduce your control.
Which is controlled.
What safety device must be fitted to a trailer braking system? Jockey wheel, breakaway cable,
Breakaway cables.
stabilizer, corner steadies. You need glasses to read a vehicle number plate at the required distance. When must you wear them?
All the time.
When you think it's necessary. Only in bad weather. Whenever you're driving.
Whenever you're driving.
Which shape is used for a give way sign?
B.
Which sign means no stopping?
Well. Your stopper would be B.
What does this sign mean? With flow cycle lane. Contraflow cycle lane. No cycles or buses. Cycles and buses only.
With flow cycle.
What does it mean if this light comes on while you're driving? The engine oil is low. A fault in the braking system. Your seatbelt isn't fastened. A rear light has failed. A fault in the braking system.
Yeah.
Why do motorcyclists often look round over their right shoulder just before turning right? To listen for traffic behind them. Motorcycles don't have mirrors.
Oh, yeah.
To check for traffic in their blind area. It helps them balance as they turn.
To check for traffic in the blind spot.
What should you be aware of if you've just passed this sign? All traffic is going one way. You can't stop on this road. Only one lane is in use. This is a single track road.
Single track road.
Jeremy is due to be in work in 30 minutes. In normal traffic and road conditions, his journey takes about 45 minutes. Overnight, there's been a heavy snowfall that was not predicted, and as a result, the roads have not been salted. His job is important to him, and he does not want to be late. But his car is not four-wheel drive, and the weather forecast is for more snow and well below freezing temperatures for the rest of the day. The traffic report contains numerous reports of accidents and stationary traffic. Jeremy considers his options and the risks involved in making the journey to work.
You're about to start a journey in freezing weather. What part of your vehicle should you clear of ice and snow? The windows.
Yes. You need to see.
How much can stopping distances increase in icy conditions?
Right. So dry condition, 2 seconds. In wet conditions, 2 minutes 4. I think we've done the game 8. So I don't think it's going to be 8. I think it's going to be 10. Oh, stop it. This is not distance between cars and pick up.
How much can stopping distances increase in icy conditions?
Oh, 3 times? No.
What should you do when you're driving in snowy conditions? Brake firmly and quickly. Be ready to steer sharply. Use side lights only. Brake gently in plenty of time. Be ready to steer sharply. Brake firmly and quickly. Brake gently in plenty of time.
You gently plenty of time.
You're driving in freezing conditions. What should you do as you approach a sharp bend? Firmly use your foot brake. Slow down gently. Apply your parking brake. Coast into the bend.
Slow down gently.
There's been a heavy fall of snow. What should you consider before driving in these conditions? Whether you should fit an amber flashing beacon to your car, whether you should drive without wearing your seatbelt, whether you should wear sunglasses to reduce the glare, whether your journey is essential.
Why your journey is essential. Whoa. What that? Wow. Hey. I thought I got a lot more wrong than that actually. I'm actually quite happy with that. Only 4 wrong. Honestly.
Which lights must you use if you're driving on a well-lit motorway at night?
Headlight. Use headlight.
Use your headlights.
Yeah. I knew, obviously, I knew it wasn't foggy, so I knew it wasn't fog light. I did not know what one it was. But that's fine. This one, I did 100%.
What does this traffic sign mean? Danger ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does this sign mean? With flow cycle lane. What should you be aware of if all traffic is going one way?
Fair enough. But that's good anyways. And I do the hazard perception tomorrow. But 46 out of 50. And that I'll stop sharing now. Come back to you. Yeah, quite happy with that result. So like I say, I do the hazard perception tomorrow. Because I've got work in a minute, so I've got to get it sorted out. And then I do a few more. So until then, I'll catch you again, and hopefully you do a few more before next. Well, of course, I got plenty. I got a few. A bit of time left to get more practice in. But till then, see you later.